Hi everyone, Diana Rankin here on a Friday afternoon I'm on Eastern Daylight Time, so it's Friday afternoon. It's about 2 o'clock, I think. Anyway, welcome to our Friday afternoon. Uh, Phillip answering your questions. And I'm Diana Rankin, and I'm so glad you're here with me today. Thank you so much. Today's question is really interesting. It's a question I normally wouldn't even consider answering as Diana. It's about economics, global economics, the global economy. And the reason I say I wouldn't normally answer that is when my private clients ask me questions about the stock market or about, should they invest in this or invest in that? I usually tell them I don't follow the stock market. I know what the global economy is. I know what the World Bank is, but I just don't follow it and have the interest. So I was kind of a little intimidated by this question, but I said, I don't have to know. I, Diana, don't have to know the answer because we asked Phillip and Phillip supplies those answers for us. Now, that said, the question has come up a few times that if I'm working a one-on-one with you as a client, I do not write out the answer. So I don't need to know anything about you before we have our session, other than your name and your phone number so we can connect. But what I have here is I always write it out for those of you who are new to our channel. Welcome. I always write out the answers to your questions. And I ask that your questions be of a general nature, so they will be of interest to all of the viewers here. And I thank you for keeping the questions general. Excuse me. I also love your questions because I learned so much about everything as I did in this particular question about the global economy. So thank you. We also get a message from Phillip. It's one of my books called The Master's Book of Answers by Phillip. And we just flip through and each page has a different message on it. And the messages always seem to pertain to our question, the answer to our question, which I always find fascinating. But that's the way it is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start. I know hopefully some of you will join us. If not, I know most of you see the video after the fact, but if you're out there and care to join us live, please feel free to do that. Here we go. The question is, to address this, the question, I'm sorry, with so many people, I started to give you the answer before I gave you the question. With so many, and I want to stop for a moment because I just want to remind people that I am very human and I make mistakes easily, and I'm the first one to admit it. So please don't put me on a pedestal. Just recognize I'm human. I just happen to have a gift to be able to read the energy that we all are, that everything is. And I've spent most of my life, my adult life, I should say, really developing that energy. As a child, it came so naturally, but I needed to keep it very quiet because of the way I was raised. So I came out, so to speak, as someone with psychic abilities when I was probably in the close to 50, around 50. And in fact, it's kind of an interesting story. I was finishing up my master's degree in humanities at Antioch University. And my thesis is in how the sacred is expressed across cultures and throughout history. I've always had an interest in the spirit, the spiritual, religions, but not in the way as much as how they're practiced today, as much as how they've been practiced historically. And then bring that into see how they're practiced today, which is very different than how most of them were practiced originally. So I was having a 50th birthday party, celebrating turning 50. And that goes back 25 plus, or 25 and a half years, actually. And I told everybody who came I invited 50 people, and they could bring a friend or not. We had kind of like an open house, sort of. And I told everyone who came they had to bring me a present that they did not obtain with spending money. And then they had to tell the story about what that present was. And I got some of the most heartwarming, touching gifts. It was just a really beautiful way to celebrate that birthday. Well, one of the women came in, and you have seen me wear this stone on some, I don't have it on now, but on some of my videos. And she handed me this stone. And she said she had been in Sedona and she was working with a shaman who gave her this stone and told her that she was to deliver it. It wasn't for her because she was not the shaman, but she was to deliver it to the shaman in Ohio who was not yet ready to admit she was a shaman. And so she handed me the stone and I wanted to give it back to her and say, no, no, but she made me keep it. I tried to give it away again and it was misused and I got it back and I cherish it now. It's either on my altar or on my person. And it's a very sacred stone. And that's more or less when I started accepting who I am and coming into my own. And so I've been very blessed to be able to pass along information that I gain from my studies and from my abilities. And I thank you for letting me do that and for being part of that. And this is a part of that. So thank you. So here we go. Here's our question that you sent in. And if you have questions, post them in the comments below, email me, catch me on Facebook, any of the above. All of that will happen. You may have just seen a delivery being dropped off outside the window here. It caught my eye, and it's a delivery being made. Well, hello, Judith. Judith, bless you. She says, you are radiant today. Excuse me. Thank you so much. Judith, that's because I managed to work outside all day yesterday. And so I was out in nature. I just took a day off from the office and said, I am working in nature today. Okay, here we go. Here's our question. And thank you again, Judith. That's very kind of you. I think it's the lighting, the cameras. With so many people concerned about the global economy, is there a season or month that people should be more prepared for a financial shift in the world? I'm going to repeat that. With so many people concerned about the global economy, is there a season or month that people should be more prepared for a financial shift in the world? Phillip goes into more detail than I would have guessed. And I had a little question with, are we speaking a shift of, should we be watching the economy because it's going to collapse? Or are we talking about the evolutionary shift that we're in now? And so it's amazing how Phillip addresses this. I just turned it over and said, you go for it, Phillip, because I don't know anything about economies. Okay, here we go. Phillip says, to address this question, we must first address what or who makes up the global economy and what is meant by the term. The global economy does not exist separate from globalization, which many on the planet fail to recognize. The worldwide pandemic has brought to the forefront the planet's globalization, but again, few have recognized the need to come together. The pandemic also reduced trade, which has since picked up, but will soon once again fall. December will be a change factor in the international trade, which will affect the global economy. Until then, there will be an upswing, but do not expect it to last. The winter will be harsh for many. This said, we must also note that the economy, divisions in each country, and in the different countries of the world will play a new role over the next several months and years. Although forms of paper and coins will still have value for the next several years, this is changing. The change, of course, will affect the global economy, but this is not a large concern at this juncture. When one asks of the economy globally, we say the energy is shifting rapidly as more people are aware of the need to care for one another and the planet. The greater the rewards, let me read that. I think I skipped something here. When one asks of the economic, when one asks of the economy, told you I wasn't perfect, didn't I? Far from it. When one asks of the economy globally, we say the energy is shifting rapidly. As more people are aware of the need to care for one another and the planet, the greater the rewards. This includes that which is valued and used as money. We do not wish to minimize the human's need for money in your current world. It is the means of exchange. We stress the current means. In what you call the past and into the future, money as you know it will no longer be the means of exchange. But this is far into the past and well into the future, although you have already seen signs of the new commodities of exchange. I think there he's probably talking about not only bitcoins and swapping and things of that, but I think mainly the electronic money. I think. Did not ask, but I would assume. In looking at any shift in the world, it is necessary to look beneath what brings about the shift and to remember the shift depends on the energy of the people. If the world energy is one of fear or emotions related to fear, such as greed or anger, the shift to a greater goodwill will be harder to come by. However, if the world sings songs of joy together, trade will be affected, as will the care of the planet and her people. There will be cooperation instead of discord, which benefits all people of all countries. When the countries cooperate and exchange with one another, there is harmony. The exchanges can be art, stories, materials, products, and so forth. When there is harmony within each of you, there is harmony within your country. When there is harmony only within, when there is harmony within countries, there is harmony in the world. I like that. I'm going to repeat that. When there is harmony within each of you, there is harmony within your country. When there is harmony within countries, there is harmony in the world. Today, the harmony is lacking. So the planet is reflecting of this lack. As the harmony increases, the planet too will increase in harmony. When there is harmony on the planet, all life benefits in all its forms, including economically. Wow. It's up to us, isn't it? This shift to away from greed, away from fear, away from anger. It's up to us. As we shift, it's going to shift the economy. It's going to shift the global economy, as well as each nation's economy, and as well as their private economy. Shall we get a message? And yes, all my books are available on my website, which is just www, my name, Diana Rankin, and they're also available on Amazon. So here we go. Let's see what we have here. I'm hearing right. If you heard right, then our intuition's in sync. I always read both sides of the book, both pages here. So if you heard left, that's a message you need to pay attention to because it's a message for you. All right. So here's the one on the right. Where love can enter, love already is. Where love can enter, love already is. All right, my friends. We're being told to stay in love, and that is not easy. You know, I've been getting my own test the last few months of staying in a place of love. The last several years, a few years actually. But being in that place of love, it doesn't mean we're there 24/7. We're, human and have those human emotions. But what it does mean is let's bring ourselves back to love. When we find ourselves leaving, let's bring ourselves back. When we're angry with someone, let's look within to say, what is that triggering in me? Is it just teaching me how to not be in anger myself? Is it teaching me to root out the anger within myself so I don't use that against other people? What is the anger about? So remember, where love can enter, love already is. Open our hearts. Let there be greater love in our own private lives And that way we spread it around the world, around the planet. And as Phillip is reminding us, whether it's global warming or just spreading love, that's going to affect the economy. If you heard left, here's your message. Before you can learn what is real, you must let go of that which you think is real. Before you can learn what is real, you must let go of that which you think is real. You know, this week, what I find is when I need to learn something or when I'm pushing against, and I don't need to push against, I need to just let go and let the universe take over, let go, let God, that I will get that information. And sometimes I have to let go. I have to get past my stubbornness. And I really got that this week. I was dealing with a situation, with a problem, and I was asking for the answer, and the answer wasn't coming, and it wasn't coming. And so I was pushing to get that answer, and it wasn't coming. And so finally, I just let go. And that's when I went out yesterday, and I spent about 7-8 hours doing yard work, mowing, cutting back trees. I had a little chainsaw, and I was using it, and hand cutting, and it was pretty warm yesterday, but it did me so much good because it forced me to let go. And in letting go, in that surrender and not trying to hold on to that issue and find the answers, I was able to find the answers. No, I was able to receive the answers. I stopped trying to find them. All I had to do was surrender and receive them. That's a lesson for all of us, isn't it? And what a gift that is. Judith, so good to see you. And for those of you I did not get to see live today, I thank you for being here with me today. Judith, I thank all of you for being here today or for watching this video in your leisure. Please tell your friends and help me to grow this channel so we can get the word out. The most important thing that we can do in this life, for our private lives, for all beings, and for the global world, including the global economy, is to love. Love does not mean the absence of boundaries, by the way. Love means I can love your soul, but I can also hold you responsible for your actions. I love you, my friends. Thank you for the love that you send to us. By the way, Daisy and Lily are doing quite well. Daisy was bouncing around outside this morning, and she sleeps a lot. We know she's of that age, but she got past a rough spot, and she's been doing quite well. Thank you for asking. And thank you for accepting the love that we send to you, and thank you for the love you give to us. Until we meet again, bye for now.